Welcome to part 2 of the revision Your Name Handyman. Before we go any further, I want to point out something that I did incorrectly in the first part. Okay, so when you are setting up your inventory, what I want you to do for this and for your exam, okay, for all of our inventory items, okay, I want you to fix up one thing. Okay, so go into inventory items list, click on Bosch multifunction tool, go to selling details and go inclusive, prices are tax inclusive. Click on OK. Do the same thing for all of them. Okay, DeWalt, selling, prices are tax inclusive. Earthwall, selling details, tax inclusive. Okay, so with all of those done, close that window and let's get into it. Okay, let's go into the transactions, page 3. June 1, okay, the following transactions occurred during the month of June 2016. June 1 received all money owing from Hazelwood Homes. Now, when we receive money, okay, we can do it two ways. We can go into banking and go receive money, or we can go into sales. Okay, in this particular instance, Hazelwood Homes, they're an accounts receivable. Okay, when we sold them stuff, we processed it through the sales window. Okay, and so in order to receive our payment and offset the amount that they have owing, we need to come into sales and receive payments. Okay, now in this one here, we're assuming that they paid check. Okay, like a lot of businesses, and I'm sure you can remember when we did accounting for cash, some businesses don't bank every day. So over the course of several days, they'll accumulate cash and checks and things like that in their safe out the back. And then every few days, they will bank all of those things together. And so all of those money that's accumulated are called undeposited funds. Okay. So let's assume that they've either paid us by cash or check, and we're going to group it with undeposited funds. Our customer is Hazelwood Homes. The amount that we've received, okay, is the total amount owing. As we tab through this, MyOb tells us the amount that they have owing, 1572, and they are paying all of that. So we go 1572. Payment method, it's not clear. We don't have to put that in, so we'll just leave it. Make sure our date is correct, 1st of the 6th, 16. Right, and just tabbing through, tab, and it automatically applies this amount here. And so before I tab again, okay, we'll see out of balance 1572. I'll hit tab again. It's all sweet. We're not out of balance. We can hit record on that one. Okay, so the next transaction, we've paid rates to Whitsunday Shire Council. So we get out of that screen because it's a different style of transaction. Okay, and we've paid rates. Now this isn't a purchase where we're going to enter Whitsunday Shire Council as a trade creditor. We're just going to go banking and spend money. In yours, okay, Whitsunday Shire Council isn't going to be set up. Okay, you'll just have those 4 that we set up initially. So all you need to do is come down here, go new, type in Whitsunday Shire Council in there, hit tab, and then hit OK. We just want to set them up and put them in the system, but we don't want to go and put all of those other details in. Just for this purpose, just get their name in there so that we can then just put them up in here. Okay, now the check number, it says check 150 was used to pay it. We're still on the 1st of the 6th, 16, and the check number is hang on, sorry, not the check number. The check amount is 1,600. Okay, we tab through, keep tabbing, and it takes us to the expense section. Now, again, you're not going to encounter this in the exam, but rates and taxes, the account that we need isn't set up in yours that you've got there. So what I want you to do is, okay, I've set it up as 65,000. Can I get you guys in this screen to go new, type in 65,000, okay, yep, okay, type in 65,000, and then in the account name type rates and taxes, click OK. In the details you'll be able to also put that it's not taxable as well, but I'm pretty sure that's the default setting. Click on OK. Okay, and you can go back in and you'll see that 65,000 is there, ready to use. Automatically applies the payment amount, 1,600. Tab through, no tax. Alright, and we can hit record for that. Okay, moving on through. Now, we sold one Bosch multifunction, so we need to get out of this screen because of selling something. Sold one Bosch multifunction tool and one cartridge washer for cash. Now, it's cash, however, we can't go receive money, because if we go receive money, we can't get an item layout of our invoice there. So we can't, with this transaction, adjust our inventory levels if we do it in the receive money section. So we cancel out of that, we go into sales, we go enter sales, and then our customer, just quickly set up someone called cash. Okay, mine's in there, yours won't be. Just quickly come in here and go new, okay, customer, just type in cash, and that's all you need, and you can hit OK. Alright, I won't because I've already got cash in there. Oh, set it up again anyway. Alright, use customer. Get our date right. Our date is the 4th of June 16. Alright, now we can't get any inventory up on this here. So if I had been clever, when we set up cash, we could have put an item layout, item invoice layout. But anyway, we can do it from this screen. We need to adjust our inventory. In order to do that, we change the layout of this particular invoice. We go layout, and we go item, okay, and that changes the layout. So what we want to do, we are selling one, and as we tab through and we hit tab again, it throws up our list of items. So we're selling a Bosch multifunction tool. Use item, tab, price is $90. Okay, and we enter through, and just unclick tax inclusive up in this top right hand corner. If it is clicked for you, just make sure that's unclicked. Keep tabbing through. Oh, we want one cartridge washer. Use item, 90. Alright. Now, because this is sold for cash, if we were just to hit record now, that would send that invoice to trade debtors, and we would have an amount in our accounts receivable. However, this was bought with cash, so we don't want it to go to accounts receivable because it was paid on the spot. So what we do is we use this section down the bottom, and so we say paid today is 198. Yep, 198. Now, because it's cash and it's not going straight into our bank account, we are grouping with undeposited funds. Okay, so we put the amount paid, it's cash, details, group with undeposited funds, payment method cash, okay, and now we record. Ignore all, on spell checker. Very good. Moving on. Now, the next one, we've purchased something, so we'll have to get out of this screen, and we go into purchases. Purchased 7 TT pocket tool pouches at a cost of $5.20 each. The tool pouches are to sell for $9.90 each. Okay, so it's a new item that we need to add to our inventory. So, but we can enter that on the fly as we go. So we go enter purchases. Our supplier is Porter's Hardware, as it says there in the question. So in here we can just start typing Porter's, and it auto-fills for us. Tab through. And we want to get our date. Our date is the 5th of the 6th, 16. And we want to purchase 7. Okay. Now mine's already in here. Okay. But it won't be in your screen once you tab and bring this screen up. So what you want to do is go new. Okay. And so enter in the item number, just like we did when we set up our inventories. So you're going to set up TT 10 as our number, TT10. Okay, and a pocket tool pouches. I buy, I sell, I inventory this item. They should all autofill. Buying details, they're $5.20 each. Selling details, they're $9.90 each. Okay, and prices are tax inclusive. Click OK. So it returns you to that screen, and we can click pocket tool pouches, use item, and we're buying them for $5.20 each. So our price is $36.40. And that is it. So we can hit record on that. Very good. Next transaction. Receive some rent. Okay, so we cancel out of this one. And, okay, we'll go into banking and receive money. Again, guys, the beauty of having a video here is obviously you can pause, excuse me, pause, go back, whatever. If I was moving too fast, going too slow, you missed something, okay, that's the beauty of now having a video at your disposal. You've got my delightful voice as much as you want. Anyway, let's get on with it. We receive fortnightly rent from Green Thumbs. So we will group this with undeposited funds. It doesn't tell us how they paid, okay, but we will just assume that it's either cash or check. Payer, yours won't have Green Thumbs in it, okay, so all you need to do is quickly go new, okay, type in Green Thumbs as a new customer and click OK. It will return you to the screen, and then you can just come in and go Green Thumbs, use card, tab, amount received 1860, payment method we're unsure of, so we can leave that blank. In our memo we can put fortnightly rent, now make sure we get our date right. So this date is the 7th of the 6th, 17. Okay, and come down to our account. We want rent income. use account 1860. There is GST in that transaction. Okay, it's commercial rent. Right now, it was mentioned that rent is scheduled per fortnight. So what the intention is there with this particular task is to save it as a recurring transaction. So save as recurring. Frequency will be fortnightly, and be careful of your dates. So this is starting on the 7th of the 6th, 16. We'll continue indefinitely because we don't know when they will stop paying it, if at all. So we'll just leave it at that, and just keep the default settings and hit save, and we'll record that one. Okay, so far so good, but the proof is in the pudding here, and let's do the next transaction, which is prepare the banking. So this is where all of our transactions that have been grouped to undeposited funds will actually get put into the bank account, and the amount that we're banking here in this transaction should match the deposit on your bank statement. Okay, so it's going into the check account. Okay, bank deposit, make sure our date is correct, 7th of the 6th, 16. Ooh, something dropped off there. So one of my transactions must have had the wrong date. Let's go back to that field here. See, this is why dates are incredibly important. I've got that 7th of the 6th, 2017 incorrect. So hopefully we can drill back into this transaction here and change this date to 16. Okay, so if usually all of the transactions that you need don't appear here, typically it will be a date error. So we can click all of those just by clicking this box here, and it's saying that we're banking all of these amounts here. Quick little tip for you guys when you're in your exam, okay? Because it's an exam, we don't have a massive amount of transactions like a normal business would. Okay, what you can do, we can double check that we're on the right track by checking this amount here that we're banking should match a deposit on our bank statement. So if we flick over on our exam or our revision question, okay, to the second last page, to our little bank statement here, and we can see deposit on the 7th, okay, 3630. So that matches what we've got. So we can move forward with confidence that we've got it correct. Now, before we move on though, how about we get this date here correct, 7th of the 6th, 2016. Okay, and we can hit record on that. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep going. The 10th, paid Bowen Hire and Sales the amount owing to them. So what we want to do, in purchases, okay, now we owe Bowen Hire and Sales money. So originally it was something entered through purchases in order for it to go into trade creditors. So we're not spending money in here, we're in purchases and we are paying bills. So our supplier is, and we can just start typing, Bowen Hire and Sales. Payment was by check. So the first check that we've got a record of using back on the 1st of June was check 150. What MyOp does is automatically generates what should be the next check number in the checkbook, okay, which should be 151. It says here in the transaction, on the 10th, paid Bowen Hire and Sales the amount owing to them, payment was by check. So we're using check 151. Make sure our date's correct. So it's 10th of the 6th, 1/6. Our amount, okay, is, when we brought up Bowen Hire and Sales, it automatically tells us the amount that we owe them. Thank you for your input there, Mr. Gecko. So we're paying the full amount owing, 2962. Alright, and just tab through and it will automatically apply that figure. Okay, we're out of balance at the moment, then we hit tab again. We're not out of balance anymore. We hit record. Done. Give it a tick. Okay, so our next transaction returned one of the tool pouches purchased on June the 5th as the stitching was faulty. Firstly, we need to get out of this screen here. Now, so this is a purchaser's return. What we need to do here is we need to enter, when we first purchased the tool pouch, okay, we entered it through purchases and enter purchases. To enter a purchase return, we do it the same way. And if you're stuck when you're going through your revision, it's handy to go back to the yellow cheat sheet that I've given you. You can look up purchases returns, okay, and it gives you the process of how to go through it. So we need to enter a negative purchase. So we'll go in here, enter purchases. The supplier is Porter's Hardware. Just start typing, it will autofill. Our date is the 11th of the 6th, 1/6. Okay, and for a purchase return, we enter a negative purchase. So what we want to do is go -1. Okay, keep tabbing through. It'll throw up this list to select from, and we want to select pocket tool pouches. Use item, tab through, and you'll see it's -$5.20. Okay, -$5.20 is the balance due, and hit record. Okay, so we'll go out of here. The next step, okay, to fully process our purchase return, okay, we've done half of the process. We step out of the enter purchaser screen, and now we go into the purchasers register. We go to the purchasers command center, and we go into returns and debits. And the details of our return is in here. Okay, so again, go into purchases register, go into the returns and debits tab, and there is our returns transaction there. What we want to do then is apply to purchase. Now, yeah, and as the transaction says on the revision sheet, okay, apply this to the original purchase. Typically, like when you return something to a supplier, you might either get a credit against the amount that you owe them, or you might get a cash refund. But in this instance here, the question says apply this to the original purchase. So we come down here to this button here, apply to purchase. Okay, make sure our date is correct, 11th of the 6th, 17, and just tab through. Okay, and it will apply that amount as we tab through. Out of balance 0, so we can hit record. Close out of there, and that is that transaction done. Alright, so the next transaction on the 15th, we sold 3 Makita circular saws, 4 lofty extension ladders, 2 Ryobi workbenches, to a new customer, which is Arcade Homes. So we can do all of this on the fly, set up the new customer just like we did with the new item before. So in order to sell some stuff, we go into sales, alright, and we're going to enter sales. And it's up here that we enter in the new details. So customer, we go, click on the down arrow. Obviously Arcade Homes is not here, so we go new. Customer, Arcade Homes will set up as a company, and we'll go Arcade Homes. We've got the address details, so we'll type in Windmill Crossing, Mackay, QLD, what are they, 4740. Have we got phone number 4942 7294. Alright, that's all the details for that screen. Selling details, we want an item layout, and our income account will be hardware sales, use account, okay, and we'll come over here and put the ABN in, just like we did when we set up those customers in part 1, 935261. 261034. Payment details, don't know. Okay, so let's click OK on that. So now, now we can just start typing Arcade Homes. Alright, just tab through, get our date correct, 15th of the 6th, 16. Okay, and so we want to ship 3 tab, Makita circular saws. Use the item. Should we make that? Okay, so click tax inclusive on this one here. We want to sell 4 lofty extension ladders, so tab till we find the lofty extension ladders. Use item 169. And we want to sell 2 Ryobi workbenches. Use item. Okay. So we can hit record on that, and that will send that into trade debtors. Ignore the spell check. Okay, so tick off on the 15th. 16th. Okay. Now Telstra won't be in the system here. So hang on. Whoop. Let's cancel out of that screen. And so we've paid phone bill to Telstra. So we want to go into banking, spend money. Okay, and Telstra is not going to be set up. So from the drop down, we come into the screen, we go new. It's going to be a supplier company, and that's Telstra. Get them into the system there. So just start typing Telstra. Okay, and we've paid this using Visa card. So what we do at the top, where we've used Visa card, very important to read the question. Okay, paid phone bill to Telstra using the Visa card. So typically when we pay most of the bills, okay, our payment will be coming out of the check account. Oh, didn't mean to do that. However, we paid this with the Visa card. So what we can do is pay from account, click on the drop down, and come down here to Visa. Use account. Okay. It doesn't have a check number, obviously, because it's not a check. So in here, we might just put CC for credit card. Make sure our date is correct. So 16th of the 6th, 16, and the amount that we pay to Telstra is 1350. Now again, when we were setting up Telstra, we could have been clever and gone and set up the account that it was linked to, but I haven't. So come down into our expense section, find telephone, and use account 1350. Telephone really should have tax on it. So let's change that. GST. And that is our payment there. Click record. And hop out of that screen. Give it a tick, and on to the next one. Alright, Arcade Homes returned one of the ladders purchased on the 12th of June. As it was no longer needed, the owner asked for a cash refund. Okay, so very similar to when we had a purchase return before. Okay, this one operates in a very similar manner. Okay, so we go into, it's a sales return, okay? We sold stuff to Arcade Homes, so it's a sales return. So we're going to come into sales, and we're going to enter a negative sale. So enter sales, start typing Arcade Homes, tab, 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 make sure our date is correct, 16th of the 6th, 16. Okay, and we're going to ship -1, and what are they? Lofty ladders and use item. Okay, so we keep going through, tab, 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 tab. Now, unlike, so let's process this, record. Okay, and again, we've done half of the transaction. Next step is sales register, returns and credits, and here is our transaction here. Now, we're not applying it to the sale. He wanted a cash refund, so instead of that button, we'll hit pay refund. From the check account, doesn't say specifically, but we will use a check to pay the refund. So the next check number in the sequence was 152. Make sure our date is correct. So our date is the 16th of the 6th, 16. Amount is 169, and we record. Close out of that, and we give it a tick. Alright, so our next transaction, we performed on the 20th, performed DIY handyman workshops for local customers. We were paid a total of $550 cash. And it's given us a tip there that it's a service invoice. So, with this one here, we're not selling items or anything like that, and we're receiving cash. So we can go into banking, receive money, and we will, again, it's cash. We're not banking every day. Because I think you'll notice we need to prepare the banking again on the 29th. So, group with undeposited funds, it's going to be cash, use card, amount received is 550, payment method, we can put cash in there. In our memo field, we can put performed DIY workshops. Make sure our date is correct. 20th of the 6th, 16. Come down here to our account. Alright, and it'll take us to our income section. And hardware sales, plumbing sales, so we're not selling stuff. We'll put that in miscellaneous income because that's the only one that really fits. If you're faced with a similar transaction in your exam, it'll be a little bit more specific and you'll have a proper account to choose from. So anyway, miscellaneous income, use account. That should be GST, okay, because it's a DIY workshop. So I'm going to put GST on that transaction. And that should be fine. Record. Cancel. Give it a tick. Our next transaction is a bit of a doozy. So let's get through this one. 21st, we received $964 from Jay Waters as a final payment of his account. If we flick back to the start where we set Jay Waters up as a customer, this guy owes us $2,964. What's happening is that he's going broke. So we're getting $964 out of him, and then we're going to write off the rest as a bad debt. Okay, so received $964 from Jay Waters as a final payment of his account. He informed us he had been declared bankrupt and could no longer pay the remainder of his account. the balance of this account is to be written off as bad debt. So, originally we sold stuff to Jay Waters, okay, because he owes us money. So firstly, we want to record the amount that he pays us against what he owes us. So we're going to go into sales and receive payments. We will group this with undeposited funds, and the customer is Jay Waters. Is he going to come up? Customer, Waters. There he is. Okay, tabbing through, amount received, $964. $964. Payment method, it's either cash or check. Let's not worry about it in this instance here, unless we're specifically told. Make sure our date is correct. So it is the 21st of the 6th, 16. Okay, we tab through. Okay, and so we've put in 964 up here. As we tab through, it applies that 964 to our to the account. So you'll notice now, okay, he owed us 2,964. He's paid 964, so he now owes us $2,000. Okay, what we'll do, we'll record this transaction, and we will cancel out of there. What we need to do now, okay, we need to write off his outstanding balance of $2,000. He's never going to pay it. He's going bankrupt. It's a bad debt. We need to get rid of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Enter Sales. We want to come down to Layout and select Miscellaneous. And from there, okay, with our miscellaneous layout, we're going to find Jay Waters. We're going to get our date correct, so it is the 21st of the 6th, 16. And we're just tabbing through. Well, we should be miscellaneous. Okay, make sure that we are on a miscellaneous layout. Don't know what I did before. Okay, 21st of the 6th. Description. We are write off account. Okay, so miscellaneous invoice layout. Okay, we come down in our description, write off account as bad debt for Jay Walters. Now in our account, we want to select bad debts account. So we come down to our expenses. If you recall, in the first session, we set up a bad debts account. Okay, and use account. Okay, and we're entering our amount as minus $2,000. Okay, so let's record that. And now, in order to settle the bad debt, we go into the sales command center where we are. We go into the sales register, and there is our negative sale. In our returns and credits tab. Now we want to apply this to our sale. Okay, make sure that our date is correct. So this is the 21st of the 6th, 16. Okay, tab through until the amount is applied, and then hit record. Close that, give it a tick. Okay, next transaction on the 21st. We've purchased 2 Ryobi workbenches. So this is a fairly easy transaction. Okay, we're purchasing stuff, so we go into purchases. We want to enter purchases, and our supplier is Bowen Hire. So just start typing Bowen Hire in sales. Okay, make sure our date is correct, so it's 21st of the 6th, 16. Okay, and we are ordering 2 Ryobi workbenches. So tab through. Here we go, select the item, use item. Price. Why don't we have a price? Interesting. Well, if that is to happen to you, that it doesn't autofill with the price, go back to the opening inventory, the detail of all of the inventory items when we first set them up. Find that particular item. So Ryobi Super Jaws workbench. Okay, just to show you where I mean. Okay, Ryobi Super Jaws workbench, $100 purchase cost. What's the other one that we're buying? DeWalt driver kits. They are $210. Okay. Interesting. Price $100. GST. Okay, and we're buying 4 DeWalt driver kits. Use item. Interesting that that didn't come up with 210. I'm just going to double check again that that is, yeah, 210 purchase cost. Alright, enter through there, and we will record on that. Record. Bear with me. Okay. Cancel out of that. Give our transaction a big tick. Alright, on the 21st, we're receiving rent again. So we can go into receive money. We can then use a recurring transaction. So we can select our fortnightly rent. This one here. Select. From green thumbs. 1860. Let's make sure our date is correct. Okay, and we want to make that 21st of the 6th, 16. It is grouped with undeposited funds. Okay, so we can just tab through that, and then hit record. Cancel out of that. So the next transaction, okay, you took home a Homelight 720 volt generator to clean the outside of your house. Alright, what we're going to do here, so that's owner drawings, but he's taken out, you took out an item of stock. What we're going to do is simply process that as a general journal entry, and we will adjust the stock level for that item being taken out when we do a stock take at the end of the year. So to do a general journal entry, we go into accounts and we go record journal entry. We make sure that our date is correct, so it's the 25th of the 6th, 16. And in our memo, give the detail. Took Homelight 720 volt generator for own use. Okay, so our journal entry when we are we'll need to debit drawings in owner's equity, and to reflect the decrease in inventory because we've taken an item out, we need to credit inventory. So just tab on the account, just scroll down to the owner's equity section, not too far, and we're going to go owner's drawings, use account. Now the value that we want to use in here is the cost price of the asset. So we can go back to where we originally had the values. Okay, I'll show you here. So it's a Homelight generator. We've taken one of these things here home. So we're recording it at its cost price. of $99. So that's the value that we're going to use in our journal entry. So $99 debit. Okay, no tax in that transaction. And we are going to, our other account is we need to credit inventories. So we're going to credit inventories, use account, $99. Again, and there's just no tax in this particular journal entry. Okay, so when we are doing owner's drawings of equipment, we're doing a general journal in this fashion. Okay, click record on that, and that's fine. So tick that transaction, and let's move on. Cancel out of here. The next transaction. So 27th, on checking your records, it was found that the rates paid on the 1st of June were for water rates and not for general rates as it was recorded. What we want to do is to do a journal entry to simply correct that error. Okay. So in order to do a journal entry again, we go accounts, record journal entry. Okay, we get our date correct. So we want 27th of the 6th, 16, and we want to, what should we call it? We'll just call it error correction. So before, okay, bear with me here because the chart of accounts isn't spot on. Before, for this transaction for rates and taxes, we set up a rates and taxes account. When we put that particular payment to it, we debit rates and taxes. So in order to move it from rates and taxes to water rates, we need to debit water rates and credit rates and taxes. Bit wishy-washy, I know, but bear with me, okay? So essentially what we're doing, if we're taking something out of one expense account and putting it in another, we need to credit the account that it was originally in to take it out and debit the new expense account that it's going into in order to increase that expense. Alright, water rates, I'm fairly certain is not set up. So bear with me. Let's get something set up here. We'll go down to the end of expenses here. Okay, we put in rates and taxes here. Let's set up a new water rates account. Okay, and we'll call it, it'll be 65500, and we'll call it water rates. Okay, so we'll set up new. Expense, and we want it to be 65500, and we'll call it water rates. Okay, got that. No tax is fine. We'll click OK. Alright, so we want to increase water rates and decrease rates and taxes in order to fix this error. So we want to go 65500 is water rates, and the amount of the original payment, if we go back up to the transaction on the 1st, okay, we can see the amount that we paid was $1,600. Okay, so that's the amount of our journal entry. $1,600, no tax, and 5,000 rates and taxes. We'll credit that $1,600. Okay, so in your exam there will be an error correction to do. You won't have to go and set up the accounts like we just did for water rates. The accounts will be there. Okay, all you need to do is simply do that journal entry to increase one account through a debit and decrease the other account with a credit. Okay, hope that makes sense. If not, ask questions before the exam if you need to. Okay, record. Cancel out of there. Alright, so we move on the 28th. We wrote a check for $2,000 as part payment towards hardware. Okay, so this is an easy one. Okay, Porter's Hardware is a supplier. We've bought stuff from them, so we're going into purchases, and we're going to pay bills, right? And we're going to pay from the check account, and right, supplier is Porter. So just start typing, it will autofill. The question says we wrote a check, so we're using the next check number in the sequence. Make sure our date is correct, 28th of the 6th, 16, and our amount is $2,000. So we owe them $2,468. Okay. However, we're only paying $2,000. So as we tab through, it will apply that $2,000 to this amount owing, and as we keep tabbing, our outer balance will go to 0. And that's it. We're decreasing our account that we owe them by $2,000. Record. Cancel out of there. Alright, next one. On the 28th again, paid Whitsunday Times, $1,500 for advertising. So, we go into banking. We want to spend money. Pay from the check account. Now, Whitsunday Times is not going to be in here. So, let's just quickly set them up. They're a supplier, they're a company. So, let's set up Whitsunday Times. We don't have address details or anything like that, so that's fine. We just want to get them listed as a supplier. So we come back to this screen, just start typing Whitsunday Times. Oh, gone too far. Delete that. Come back up here. Alright, so we've B-paid this, so we've got, we need to put a reference up in here. Can we fit BPay 6035? Good. Okay. So up in there in our reference, we're going to put BPay 6035. Make sure our date is correct, 28th of the 6th, 16. And our amount is 1,500. Tab, 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 tab through. Okay. Whitsunday Times is for advertising. Okay, go into our expenses, find our advertising account, use the account. Advertising should have GST on it, so let's change that code to GST. Tab. Okay, and record. Give it a tick. Okay, so the moment of truth. Prepare the banking. Cancel out of that screen and prepare the bank deposit. On the, get our date right, 29th of the 6th, 16. Alright, so there's our list of transactions. If we double click on those, it comes up to a total of 3374. So just as our little cheat for the exam, okay, before we go further, we want to make sure that this is going to be correct, so that when we do our bank reconciliation, we're not going to be heartbroken if the amounts are incorrect. Okay, so 3374, we can flick over on our exam bank statement, okay, and our bank deposit, we can see here on our bank statement, 29th, our deposit 3374. It matches. Thank goodness for that. Okay, so date's correct. Record. Beautiful. Alright, give that a tick. Next one. What we want to do, we've paid for envelopes and stamps from petty cash. So, banking, spend money, and pay from account, petty cash. Okay? Right, so again, it's a petty cash payment, spend money, pay from account, petty cash, use account. Now, with here, we might just use cash. There's no other detail, but our account that we're going to use, envelopes and stamps, they're stationary, printing and stationery. So let's see if we can find, okay, we've got a postage account. Let's use the postage account, that will work. Use account, the amount is $28. There will be tax on that. Now, we're not given a reference number. Typically with a petty cash system, we'd have like a petty cash voucher. So we might just put PC in here for petty cash. Let's make sure our date is correct. So that's on the 30th of June, 16. Again, that's 28. And we are good to go. Record. Out of that screen. Oh, and that was our last transaction. So after processing all those transactions, what we need to do is reconcile our bank account, as it says there on the 30th. So, what we need to do, we're in banking. We need to go and reconcile accounts. So it's our check account, and our bank statement date is the last date of the month, 30th of June, 16. Alright. Our new statement balance. So we take our balance from this one here, 25,982. That is the balance that we put up in here, 25,982. Alright, and so now, just like we did when we did accounting for cash, we want to double check the transactions in here against our bank statement. So if we've got our bank statement beside us, okay, we look down our list, and on the 3rd of June we can see check 150 for $1,600. Okay, that matches up with this check here. Okay, so what we can do here, give it a tick here, and give it a tick on our exam paper. We work down the list. Okay, 7th of the 6th bank deposit 3630 matches up with that deposit on our bank statement 3630. Give them both a tick. Next one, check 152 2962, or check 151, sorry, 2962 matches up with our bank statement. Give it a tick in MyOb, give it a tick on the bank statement. Okay, in our bank statement we can see we've got interest received of $65. That is not in here. Thank you, Mr. Gecko. But we'll add that in a second. We'll take care of that in a minute. Alright, what else matches with our bank statement? We go down the list, we can see BPay 6035, $1,500, matches with our bank statement. Ticket in MyOb, ticket on the bank statement. Same again with this last transaction, our bank deposit 3374, matches MyOb, matches our bank statement, so ticket in both places. Alright, so after doing that, it shows that we are out of balance by $40 up here. And if we look at our bank statement on our exam paper or our revision sheet, we've got two items that are unticked. Okay, and those are this interest received of $65 and our bank charges of $25. Now obviously if you do the maths in your head, okay, 65 minus 25 gives us $40. So that's going to account for our difference. So we can rest assured that our bank statement will balance in the end. Okay, we just need to get these transactions in there. How do you do that? You ask. Alright, what we want to do, so that we don't have to jump around, go back into spend money, receive money and all that sort of stuff, what we can do, from this screen, click Actions at the bottom. And we want to do a bank entry. So here we've got either service charges, which are bank charges, and interest earned. So we can just enter these in straight from our bank statement. So service charges will be our bank charge amount of $25 from our bank statement. The date is the 30th of June. our expense account is bank charges. Again, if I'm going too fast, hit the pause button. Tax code, no tax on bank charges. Okay. Memo, I don't think there's really a memo required for that one. That's fine. Or let's put bank statement. Okay. Interest earned on the 17th. We've got $65. So let's get that date right. 17th of the 6th, 16. Income account will be. Hopefully we have an other income. Okay, so just a tip there. Okay, we have our income and we have a cost of sales and expenses. But if we go right down to the bottom, there are sometimes some other income and some other expenses. So here is what we want: interest income, use account. Again, we'll just put bank statement in here. No tax for bank interest earned. Okay, for both of those, no tax. So we can go record. We can see that our reconciliation screen has been updated for both of those transactions, and they have been automatically ticked because they're bank entries. Okay, Mob just assumes that they've come from the bank statement and they've automatically ticked them. So in doing that, we are out of balance 0, and we get that warm fuzzy feeling inside that everything balances, all is good with the world, and we can hit reconcile. When you do this step in your exam, okay, you can print the report and just print it straight to the printer. Okay, and in your exam you'll be selecting paper cut, not my home printer. So reconcile, and then once you've printed the report, go reconcile, and all that's left are these unpresented checks, which will be presented hopefully next month. All good. Okay, cancel, and back to the original screen. So in the task it says, okay, so we're under here, adjust the accounts list as indicated, which we did in the first session, record the above transactions, which we've done, we've reconciled the bank account and printed the reconciliation report. Now the next section is record a few balance day adjustments. Okay, what I might do, this file is an hour long, so I might stop this recording and just do these last little bits in a separate recording.